Peace and love, Shabbat Shalom. Oh, excuse me. Be reading from the book of Isaiah, chapter 51 to 55. Bear with me as I try to get through this, y'all willing. And I believe it's the book of Isaiah, chapter 51. I'm gonna double check real quick before I begin. Yeah, 51 to 55. So yeah, the book of Isaiah, chapter 51, verse 1. Listen to me, you who pursue righteousness, seeking Yahuwah. Look to the rock you were hewn from, and to the hole of the pit you were dug from. So, yeah, this is who he's speaking to. He's speaking to those who pursue righteousness, those who pursue the instructions of God, seeking righteousness, seeking Yahuwah. Look to the rock you were hewn from, into the hole of the pit you were dug from. Look to your creator. Don't look to man. Look to your creator. Verse 2. Look to Abraham your father, and to Sarah, who bore you. For he was alone when I called him, and I blessed him, and he increased him. And I increased, he said, I blessed him and increased him. So he's basically saying, like, look to your forefather Abraham. Look to your forefather Abraham, whom this whole, this whole walk started, from whom this whole walk started. Look to your forefather, your first father, Abraham. You know what I mean? And the way Abraham carried himself. Look to Abraham and how Abraham, had this relationship with me. This is what the Most High is speaking through Isaiah. He's telling us to look to his instructions, his righteousness, his commands. Look to him. Look to Abraham and how, all this came about. Look to your forefather. Verse 3. For Yahuwah shall comfort Zion. He shall comfort all her waste places. For he makes her wilderness like Eden, and her desert like the yarding of Yahuwah. Joy and gladness are found in it. Thanksgiving and the voice of song. Thanksgiving in the voice of song. So this is what's to come for Zion. This is what's to come for, you know, the most high spiritual children who follows his instructions, guard his commands, and obey his spiritual government, following the examples of his only begotten son. Verse 4. Listen to me, my people, and give ear to me, O my nation, for the Torah goes forth from me, and my right ruling I set as a light to peoples. So his instructions goes forth from him. That's what Torah means, his instructions. So his instructions go forth from him. He's letting it be known, his instructions, you know. Listen to me, my people, and give ear to me, O my nation. for the instructions goes forth from me, and my right ruling I set as a light to the people. So this is the light. This is the same light that the Most High, the only begotten Son, said we should let our light so shine before others. The light doesn't change, man. Like, keep in mind that the only begotten Son, the same verbiage, the same jargon that the Most High used through Isaiah, through his prophets, his only begotten Son came along and used that same jargon, used that same words, used those same words. And those same words had the same definitions. If the light was Torah, then the light was Torah now. The light is Torah now. So the light that you let so shine before others, that the only begotten Son spoke of in Matthew's, that y'all willing we able to cover later in Matthew chapter 5. This is the same light that was spoken of through Isaiah, that the Most High spoke through Isaiah. Listen to me, my people, and give ear to me, O my nation, for the Torah, meaning that his instructions, goes forth from me, and my right ruling, meaning fairness, I set as a light to the peoples. Fairness is the light. His instructions is the light. Let that shine before others. Let other people know that you're fair. Be fair to others. Let other people know that you follow God's instructions. That's letting your light so shine, along with being humble, along with showing compassion, along with showing mercy, along with being a peacemaker, along with mourning for others, along with being friendly, approachable. This is the light. The same light that's in Isaiah became the same light the only begotten Son spoke of in Matthew's chapter 5. So the same light spoken of in Isaiah 51, same light. Isaiah 51, verse 4, same light spoken of in the book of Matthew chapter 5. Verse 5, my righteousness is near, my deliverance shall go forth, and my arms judge peoples. Coastlands wait upon me, and for my arm they wait expectantly. So he's basically letting it be known, my righteousness is near, my deliverance shall go forth, and my arms shall judge. This is what you should expect, is what he's saying. This is what he's saying through Isaiah in ancient times, through his prophet of ancient times of old, so that you know in the future my deliverance will come and my judgment will come. Verse 6, lift up your eyes to the heavens and look on the earth beneath, for the heavens shall vanish like smoke, and the earth wear out like a garment, and those who dwell in it, die, as gnats. But my deliverance is forever, and my righteousness is not broken. So this also plays in with what the only begotten Son spoke of in future reference in Matthew's, how the sky will fall and the earth will, tremble and be destroyed, but his the Torah will still be required. Until that happens, the Torah will still be required. This this is consistent. This corroborates with what is said in the future by the only begotten Son. What is being spoken through Isaiah will be said by the only begotten Son later. So he's basically saying this, like lift up your eyes to the heavens and look at the earth beneath, for the heavens shall vanish like smoke, and the earth wear out like a garment, and those who dwell in it, die as gnats. And I only laugh when I heard gnats, because we have to we have to humble ourselves and know that we are gnats compared to the Almighty Supreme Spirit, the Creator. We're gnats that can be smeared like I know I'm not the only one who smeared the gnat on their window, smeared the gnat on their car window, which we shouldn't be doing. We shouldn't be touching any creatures, um, any creature's carcass. Like we shouldn't be touching it. Like, but yeah, just as easy as we can smear a gnat. Just as easy as we could be smeared by the Most High. I'm just saying, just as easy as we smear a gnat, we could be smeared by the Most High. Just think, yeah, just a thought, man. Just a thought to humble yourself and just you know remind yourself that we're just gnats. We're just gnats, man. And this is a clear example because it's exactly it says this exactly. Like it says, and those who dwell in it, die as gnats. But my deliverance is forever. His deliverance is forever. And my righteousness is not broken. His righteousness is not broken, meaning his commandments are not broken. That's the equivalent to righteousness. We know this by reading the book of Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 24 to 25. That's the definition of our righteousness, which will not be broken. They should not be broken. His commandments, we should guard them. Verse 7. Listen to me, you who know righteousness, a people in whose heart is my Torah. Do not fear the reproach of men, nor be afraid of their revelings. So he's telling this is the same thing the only begotten Son came along and told us in chapter 24 of Matthew's. Same thing. Do not fear when we hear rumors of this and rumors of that, rumors of people, nations bad at fighting each other. Do not fear because you know that's just the beginning. This has to take place. So this is the same thing that Isaiah was telling us. This is the same thing that the Most High was speaking through Isaiah in this chapter. Listen to me, you who know righteousness, meaning you who know my commandments, a people in whose heart is my Torah, a people, a people in whose heart is his instructions. Do not fear the reproach, meaning do not fear the, the reproach, meaning the persecution and the indifference of the men, the men we see, the men in position of power. Do not fear that. Do not fear them, nor be afraid of their revelings. Don't be afraid of their activities that's going on, what they got going on, and what they're doing doing to each other. Like, do not be, you know, do not be shaken by that. That has to happen. Everything that we see that's happening now has to happen. This was spoken of by our only begotten. This was spoken of by the only begotten Son in the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and it was spoken. It's being spoken of in the book of Isaiah by the Most High through Isaiah. This has to happen, but we should not fear. We should not be afraid because this has to happen. We should expect it and let it be a sign that the prophecies are true. The prophecies are Let it be a sign to us that this is the beginning of the birth pains. These are the beginning of the birth pains. These are the beginning of the prophecies being fulfilled. and let it be known, for those who see it, it should be assigned to those who know that, yeah, this is the beginning and repentance is required. Repentance is urgently required. Verse 8, for a moth eats them like a garment, and a worm eats them like wool. But my righteousness is forever, and my deliverance to all generations. Come on, man. He's like, yo, these people, the worms are gonna, they're gonna be food to the worms. These people, they're gonna be food to the moth. Their garments are gonna be food to the moth. But his righteousness is forever, and his deliverance to all generations. All generations, not just one generation, all generations. Hallelujah, hallelujah, praise Yah. May all glory be to Yah. Thank you, Yahuwah. Verse 9, awake, awake, put on strength, O arm of Yahuwah. Awake as in the days of old, everlasting generations. Was it not you who cut Rahab apart and pierced the crocodile? Verse 10, was it not you who dried up the sea, the waters of the great deep, who made the depths of the sea a way for the redeemed to pass over? Verse 11, and let the ransom of Yahuwah return, and they shall come to Zion with singing and with everlasting joy on their heads. Let them attain joy and gladness, sorrow and sighing shall flee away. Verse 12, I am he who comforts you. Who are you that you should be afraid of man, that dies, and of the Son of Man who is made like grass? Like, who are you to be afraid of men? I'm the one who comforts you. Who are you to be afraid? Who are you that you should be afraid of men who breathe like you? Don't do that. Verse 13, and you have forgotten Yahuwah, your maker, who stretched out the heavens and laid the foundation of the earth, and you continually fear all the day because of the rage of the oppressors, as he has prepared to destroy. And where is the rage of the oppressor? So it's like, man, we all are afraid of what's going, like, this basically he's saying like all are afraid of the oppressor and what the oppressor is capable of doing. But he prepares for the oppressor to be destroyed. Where is the rage of the oppressor? Verse 14, bowed, he hastens to be loosened, that he should not die in the pit, and that his bread should not fail. Verse 15, but I am Yahuwah, your Elohim, stirring up the sea, and its waves roar. Yahuwah of hosts is his name. Verse 16, and I have put my words in your mouth, and with the shadow of my hand I have covered you, the plant, the heavens, and laid the foundations of the earth, and to say to Sion, you are my people. Verse 17, awake, awake yourself, rise up, O Jerusalem, you who have drunk at the hand of Yahuwah the cup of his wrath. You have drunk the dregs of the cup of reeling and drained it out. Verse 18, of all the sons she bore, she has none to guide her. And of all the sons she has brought up, none is strengthening her. None is strengthening her hand. Verse 19, both these are coming upon you. Who is sorry for you? Ruin and destruction, scarcity of food and sword. How shall I comfort you? Verse 20, your sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets, like a gazelle in a net. They are filled with the wrath of Yahuwah, the rebuke of Yahuwah, the rebuke of Elohim. Verse 21, therefore, please hear this, you afflicted and drunk, but not with wine. Verse 22, thus said your master, Yahuwah and your Elohim, who pleads the cause of his people, see, I shall take out of your hand the cups of reeling and the dregs of the cup of my wrath. Never again shall you drink it. Verse 23, and I shall put it into the hand of those who afflict you, who have said to your being, bow down, and we pass over you. And you made your back like the ground, and as the streets to walk over. Verse 52, awake, awake, put on your strength, O Zion, put on your garments of splendor, O Jerusalem, the set apart city. For no more do the uncircumcised and the unclean come into you. Verse 2, shake yourself from the dust, arise and sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose yourself from the bonds of your neck, O captive daughter of Zion. Sound familiar? Verse 3, for thus said Yahuwah, you have been sold for nothing, and you are redeemed not with silver. Sounds familiar? Verse 4, for thus said the master Yahuwah, at first my people went down into Mizraim, Egypt, to sojourn there, and ashore oppressed them without cause. Sounds familiar? Verse 5, and now what have I here, declares Yahuwah, that my people are taken away for nothing. Those who rule over them make them well, declare Yahuwah, and my name is despised all day continually. Sounds familiar? Verse 6, therefore my people shall know my name in that day, for I am the one who is speaking. See, it is I. He's letting it be known in that day. He's going to be the one. They're going to remember his name. The name is being remembered. He's the one speaking now, speaking through Isaiah. Verse 7, how pleasant upon the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news, who proclaims peace, who brings good news, who proclaims deliverance, who says to Zion, you Elohim, your Elohim reigns. Verse 8, the voice of your watchmen, they shall lift up their voices, together they shout for joy, because eye to eye they see the return of Yahuwah to Zion. So the watchman sees this. Those who, are given the vision, given the foresight, given, they see this. The watchman. Verse 9, break forth into joy, sing together, you waste places of Jerusalem, for Yahuwah shall comfort his people. He shall redeem Jerusalem. Verse 10, Yahuwah shall lay bare his set apart arm in the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the deliverance of our Elohim. All will see. All will see this deliverance. All will see. Verse 11, turn aside, turn aside, come out from there, touch not the unclean, come out of her midst, be clean, you who bear the vessel of Yahuwah. I say it again, verse 11, turn aside, Come out from there. Touch not the unclean. Whatever is considered unclean in the scriptures, not what we think is unclean, whatever is considered unclean in these scriptures, touch it not. Touch it not. This is chapter 52, Isaiah. The book of Isaiah, chapter 52, verse 11. Turn aside, turn aside. These are exclamation marks. So he's yelling this. Come out from there. Touch not the unclean. Come out of her midst. Be clean, you who bear the vessel of Yahuwah. So we have to know what's unclean in the scriptures. We have to know what is unclean in these scriptures so we know not to touch it. Not what man considers unclean, what the scriptures considers unclean, what Yah considers unclean, the Most High considers unclean. This is what we have to this is what we have to, you know, stand clear of. Verse 12, for you shall not come out in haste, nor go in flight, for Yahuwah is going before you. For you should not come out in haste, nor go in flight, for Yahuwah is going before you, and the Elohim of Israel is your rear guard. Verse 13, see, my servant shall work wisely. He shall be exalted and lifted up and very high. Verse 14, as many were astonished at you, so the disfigurement beyond any man's and his form beyond the sons of men. I say this again, and as many were astonished at you, so the disfigurement beyond any man's and his form beyond the sons of men. So we have to stop depicting the Most High in these pictures as if we have an idea of his appearance. It's beyond the sons of men. It's beyond any man's in his form, beyond the sons of men. His disfigurement beyond any man's, and his form beyond the sons of men. You know what I mean? We're in the scriptures. Yes, we're in the writings. We're in Isaiah chapter 52. And he's basically saying, like, yo, you don't know what I look like. What I look like is beyond the disfigurement of what you can imagine. What I look like is beyond the form of the sons of men. So stop. We have to stop with these depictions in these pictures because he told us not to do that, first of all. You know, to not basically depict him in any picture. But yet you see people putting their favorite tone, on these men with beards and calling it, oh yeah, that's the only begotten son, or that's the father. When that's actually against his instructions. That's against guarding his commands. That's against his government, his spiritual government. And he's telling you here in Isaiah, through Isaiah, in verse 14, as many were astonished at you, so the disfigurement beyond any man's and his form beyond the sons of men. Verse 15, he shall likewise startle many nations. Sovereigns shut their mouths at him, for what had not been recounted to them, they shall see, and what they had not heard, they shall understand. So this is the coming of his only begotten son. Like this is what they like everything will be understood. You know what they what couldn't under be what couldn't what was not understood will be understood, you know, in this day. Verse chapter 53, verse 1. Who has believed our report, and to whom was the arm of Yahuwah revealed? Verse 2. For he grew up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of the dry ground. He has no form or splendor that we should look upon him, nor appearance that we should desire him. Who is this he speak of? Let's see. Verse 3. Despised and rejected by man. Despised and rejected by men, and a man of pains and knowing sickness, and as one from whom the face is hidden, being despised, and we did not consider him. Verse 4. Truly, he has borne our sickness and carried our pains, yet we reckoned him smitten, stricken by Elohim, and afflicted. Sounds familiar? Who is we speaking? Who was he speaking of? Verse 5. But he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our crookedness. The chastisement for our peace was upon him, and by his stripes we are healed. Sounds familiar? Who is he speak? Who are we talking about? Like verse 6. We all, like sheep, went astray. Each one of us has turned to his own way, and Yahuwah has laid on him the crookedness of us all. Verse 7. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, but he did not open his mouth. He was led as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before it shearers is silent, but he did not open his mouth. So yeah, he's talking about the only begotten son, Yahushua HaMashiach. You may know him as other, you may know him as um another name, but this is this is what Isaiah, this is what the Most High is speaking through Isaiah, is speaking of his only begotten son. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, but he did not open his mouth. He was led as a lamb to the slaughter, and as sheep before the shearers is silent, but he did not open his mouth. Verse 8. He was taken from prison and from judgment, and as for his generation, who considered that he shall be cut off from the land of the living, for the transgression of my people he was stricken. Verse 9. And he was appointed a burial site with the wrong, and with the rich at his death, because he had done no violence, nor was deceit in his mouth. So yeah, we see that, you know, speak on what, you know, how he was treated, and his burial was treated by the gentleman that came along and offered the burial for him. And we also see in the beginning of this chapter, it says, for he grew up before him as a tender plant. It says, who has believed our report, and to whom was the arm of Yahuwah revealed? And it's the arm of Yahuwah revealed. For he grew up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of dry ground. As a root out of dry ground. Grew up as before him as a tender plant. So this is not, you know what I mean? You know, he grew up tender plant or from the tender plant or grew up. No, it's as. He has no form or splendor that we should look upon him, nor appearance that we should desire him. He didn't have that for us to desire him and, depict him in these pictures. And this is the only begotten Son. This is basically letting us know, like, yo, don't even do my son like that. He let it be known in the prior chapter, like, yo, you don't know what I look like. And even though my son walked amongst in a timing that you not know, don't go depicting my son of what you think he looked like. Verse 10, but Yahuwah was pleased to crush him. He laid sickness on him that when he made himself an offering for guilt, he would see a seed. He would prolong his days, and the pleasure of Yahuwah prosper in his hand. Made himself an offering for guilt. Who else? None other than the only begotten Son. Verse 11, he would see the result of the suffering of his life and be satisfied. Through his through his knowledge, my righteous servant makes many righteous, and he bears their crookedness. Come on, man. Who else? Who else? Who else does he make many righteous out of his knowledge? Through his teachings. Through his teachings, through the teachings, his teachings alone, through his lessons alone, through his demonstrations alone, through his his examples alone. My righteous servant make many righteous, and he bears their crookedness. Verse 12, therefore I give him a portion among the great, and he divides the spoil with the strong, because he pour out his being unto death, and he was counted with the transgressors, and he bore the sin of many, and made intercessions for the transgressors. This is what he done for us. He lived amongst us, he dwelt with the transgressors and took on the sin of all transgressors. The ultimate sin offering, the ultimate guilt offering. Chapter 54, verse 1. Sing, O barren one, you who did not bear. Break forth into singing and cry out loud, you who have not been in labor. For the children of the deserted one are more than the children of the married woman, said Yahuwah. Come on, man. For the children of the deserted one. Is that not true? Are more than the children of the married one. Is that not true to this day? Is that not why we have what we have going on and the people that we have? Because is more people who are born out of marriage, out of wedlock than there were born, you know, from marriage. This is what this is saying. For the children of the deserted one are more than the children of the married woman, said Yahuwah. Verse 2, enlarge the place of your tent, and let them stretch out the curtains of your dwelling. Spare not, lengthen your cords and strengthen your stakes. Verse 3, for you shall break forth to the right and to the left, and your seed inherit the nations, and make the deserted cities inhabitants. Verse 4, do not fear, for you shall not be put to shame, nor hurt. You shall not be humiliated. For the shame of your youth you shall forget. For the shame of your youth you shall forget, and not remember the reproach of your widowhood anymore. Verse 5, for your maker is your husband, Yahuwah of hosts is his name, and the set apart one of Yisrael is your redeemer. He is called the Elohim of all the earth. Verse 6, for Yahuwah has called you like a woman forsaken. Yahuwah has called you like a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, like a wife of youth when you were refused, declares your Elohim. Verse 7, for a little while I have forsaken you, but with great compassion I shall gather you. With great compassion I shall gather you. So when it's time to gather, it will be with great compassion. And he's speaking of this time to come. He's speaking of later in the later days. Verse 8, in an overflow of wrath, I hid my face from you for a moment, but with everlasting loving commitment, I shall have compassion on you, said Yahuwah, your Redeemer. Come on, man. Verse 9, for this is the waters of Noah to me, in that I have sworn that the waters of Noah would never again cover the earth. So have I sworn not to be rough with you, nor to rebuke you. Come on, this was his swear. He's reminding us. He swore this that it would never, he won't cover the earth with water. And he's reminding this in the same chapter for a reason, let it be known like something will be done. My wrath is coming, but not in the way that it came already. Because I keep my word. He's basically letting it be known like he keeps his word. I'm not going to do that again. Verse 10. For through for though the mountains be, for though the mountains be removed and the hills be shaken, my loving commitment is not removed from you, nor is my covenant of peace shaken, said Yahuwah, who has compassion on you. So he's letting it be known these mountains going to be removed and these hills going to be shaken. Verse 11, O you afflicted one, tossed with storm and not comforted. See, I am setting your stones in autonomy and shall lay your foundations with sapphires. Verse 12, and shall make your battlements of rubies, your gates of crystal, and all your walls of precious stones. Verse 13, and all your children taught by Yahuwah, and the peace of your children great. Come on, man. Taught by Yahuwah through his only begotten Son. Verse 14, in righteousness you shall be established. In these commandments you should be established. In these commandments you should be established. That's our righteousness. Again, Deuteronomy chapter 6, 24 to 25. That's where our righteousness is defined as commandments. Those who guard his commandments. And all your children taught by Yahuwah, and peace of your children great. Verse 14, in righteousness you shall be established. In guarding these commandments, you shall be established. Far from oppression, for you shall not fear, and far from ruin, for it does not come near you. So in order for this not to come near you, for you, in order for you to be far from ruin, in order to you to, for you to not fear, you have to guard the commandments. You have to guard these commandments. I'm not making this up, man. In righteousness, you shall be established. Far from oppression, in order for you not to be oppressed, you have to guard these commandments. In order for you, it says, for you shall not fear. In order for you not to feel fear, you have to guard these commandments. And it says, and far from ruin. In order for you to be far from ruin, you have to guard these commandments. For it does not come near you. In order for it to not come near you, you have to guard these commandments. Go read Deuteronomy chapter 6, 24. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 24 to 25. So you know that your righteousness is to guard the commandments. Once you know your righteousness is to guard the commandments, then whenever you see righteousness throughout the scriptures afterwards, you know that that means for you, it requires you to guard the commands, guard his commandments, follow his instructions. And what comes with that is being far from oppression, not fearing, far from ruin, and yeah, none of it comes near you. And you have to trust in that. You have to trust in that. You have to trust in that. Verse 15, see, they shall indeed assemble, but not because of me. Whoever shall assemble against you falls for your sake. Come on, man. They shall indeed assemble, but not because of me. Whoever shall assemble against you falls for your sake. For your sake of being followers of his instructions, for the sake of you being guarders of his commands. That's the only way we're established. Verse 16, see, I myself have created the blacksmith who blows the coal in the fire, who brings forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. Verse 17, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall prove wrong. This is the inheritance of the servants of Yahuwah, and their righteousness from me, and their righteousness from me declares Yahuwah. So people read this verse, man. People cite this verse, but they don't cite the rest of it. You have to cite it in whole. This is the inheritance of the servants of Yahuwah, and their righteousness from me. That's important to you have to include that, because if you that gives it context. That gives it context. Everyone cites this, no weapons formed against me should prosper, and every tongue which rises against me judgment you should prove wrong. He's not going, that doesn't apply to you if you're not guarding his commandments. That doesn't apply to you if you're not following his instructions. That doesn't apply to you. It only applies to you when you are in accordance to his righteousness, which is those who guard his commandments. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 24, 25. Look up the definition of our righteousness. It's to guard his commandments. So this is what he's clearly telling us from beginning to, you have to, once you read it in context, from the beginning of this chapter to where it ends with the famous quote, or the famous verse that everyone likes to, you know what I mean? Everyone likes to cite. No weapon formed against you should prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment, you should prove wrong. And most people stop there. But you got to read on to give it its context. When you read on, it says, this is the inheritance. This is the inheritance of the servants of Yahuwah, those who serve Yahuwah, serve God, and their righteousness. What is their righteousness? Guarding the commandments. Those who guard his commandments, follow his instructions. This is their inheritance. This is not the inheritance of the people who don't guard his commandments. This is not the inheritance of people who don't follow his instructions. This is not so. No weapon formed against you, meaning those who follow his instructions and guard his commandments. No weapon formed against them should prosper. Every tongue which rises against them in judgment shall be proved wrong. So you gotta keep this in context. Chapter 55, verse 1. O everyone whose thirst come. Let me say this again. Chapter 55, verse 1. O everyone who thirsts, come to the waters, and you who have no silver, come, buy and eat. Come, buy wine and milk without silver and without price. Come on, man. Can't wait to this day. Eat and drink without price. Eat and drink without price. Wouldn't that be a beautiful thing? Wouldn't that be a beautiful thing while we still have while we still are in our vessels, in our fleshly vessels, to experience eating and drinking without price? How real is that? How real would that be to experience that without price? This is an indication of it. Verse 2. Why do you weigh out silver for what is not bread, and your labor for what does not satisfy? Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Why do you weigh out silver for what is not bread? We got a lot of people splurging, spending and splurging on what is not food. You spending and splurging on what doesn't satisfy. Only thing that's satisfied is food and water, nourishment. Why do you weigh out silver for what is not bread, and your labor for what does not satisfy? Why? Listen, listen to me, and eat what is good, and let your being delight itself in fatness. Eat what is good, man. What is good is what he considers good. What is good is what he considers good to be eaten. Not you eating whatever you like, eating whatever you call food. You have to eat what God considers food. You have to eat what God calls food, not what you call food. Eat what he calls food. Verse 3. Incline your ear and come to me. Hear, so that your being lives, and let me make an everlasting covenant with you. The trustworthy, loving commitments of Dawid, of David. Verse 4. See, I have given him as a witness to the people, a leader and a commander for the people. He's speaking about none other than his only begotten son. He's speaking about no one other than his only begotten son. He's given to us as a witness, as a leader, and a commander for the people. This is his only begotten son he's speaking of. From the lineage of David, from the lineage of Dawid. Verse 5, see, a nation you do not know, you shall call, and a nation who does not know you run to you. Because of Yahuwah, your Elohim, and the set apart one of Yisrael, for he has adorned you. So this is clear indication that nations who have not been on these instructions, people who have not been on this will gravitate, to this walk, gravitate to this way. See, a nation you do not know, you shall call. This is who the only begotten son will call. And a nation who does not know you run to you. Because of Yahuwah, because of his father, Yahuwah, the Almighty, your Elohim, and the set apart one of Israel, for he has adorned you. He has adorned his only begotten son. Verse 6, seek Yahuwah while he is to be found. Seek Yahuwah while he is to be found. Come on, man. While you still have the breath of God in your lungs, seek him while he is to be found. Seek Yahuwah while he is to be found. Call on him while he is near. There will be a point, obviously, there will be a point where verse 7, let the wrong forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Let him return to Yahuwah, who has compassion on him, and to our Elohim, for he pardons much. Come on, man. Come on, man. This is exactly what the only begotten son came along and said. And we're going to cover this, Yah willing. We're going to be we have the time to cover this after this chapter when I close this live out, and I'm gonna pick back up in the book of Matthew, so you can know that this is consistent with what his only begotten son came along and said. This is speaking of Yahushua Hamashiach, the only begotten Son of God. This is speaking of no one other than him in his life and how he treat us, how he said it, what he set as an example to treat others, how to treat others, what he set as the demonstration on how to treat others. Having compassion on him, pardoning much, pardoning much, pardoning much. Let the wrong forsake his way. Let the wrong forsake his way. Let the wrong forsake his way, his own way. Forsake it. Call it out. Call out your flesh, the way of your flesh. Call it out for what it is. Identify it for what it is. Call it out for what it is. Put it on display for others to see it for what it is, as a confession, as a testimony. Oh, praise to the Most High, Yahuwah. Let the wrong forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Excuse me. So he's saying, forsake your own way, the way of your flesh. Forsake the thoughts of your flesh. Those thoughts that your flesh has that wants to respond and get back and say something. Come on, man. Is it not making any sense? If not, we gonna make it make sense. We're gonna make it make sense in Matthew's. Verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares Yahuwah. Our thoughts are not his thoughts. Our thoughts of our flesh are not his thoughts. Our ways of our flesh is not his ways. We have to understand his thoughts and do our best to take them on by following the examples of his only begotten son. We have to understand his ways and do our best to take them on by following the demonstrations of his only begotten son. That's what we have to keep top of mind, is his ways and his thoughts. But they're not ours. They're not our own. And we have to, in order to consider his thoughts, we have to suppress our own. In order to consider his thoughts, the thoughts of his and the thoughts of his only begotten son, we have to suppress our own. That's a must. There's no getting around it. We have to suppress our own thoughts. We have to suppress our own ways. And our own is meaning our own in our flesh. What our flesh wants to say, how our flesh wants to clap back, how our flesh wants to respond, how our flesh wants, where it wants to go, what it wants to do, who it wants to be with, who it wants to get back at, who it can't forgive, who it refuses to forgive, who it refuses to like, who it refuses to love, who it refuses to like. It's That's our ways. Well, I don't like you because you doing this, you that, or you voted for this person. Is that not? It's not the people ways. That's the ways of the of each of our flesh. Someone offended us, so we don't like them. You offended me. You offended my flesh. I don't like, my flesh doesn't like you. You offended my flesh, so my flesh doesn't like you. My flesh found you offensive. What you said was offensive, so my flesh doesn't like you. But that's not the ways of the spirit. That's not the ways of the Ruach within. That's not the ways of the child of God within, the spiritual child of God. That's not the ways. That's not the thoughts of the spiritual child of God. The spiritual child of God is not petty. The spiritual child of God is not tick for tack. The spiritual child of God is not, you know, holding grudges. The spiritual child of God is not easily offended, sensitive. Spiritual child of God is more so sensitive to evil. Evil, it's his own, it's his only enemy. Evil itself, not people. Evil itself. Evil itself is the spiritual child of God's only enemy. Evil itself is God's only enemy. Evil itself is the Son of God's only enemy. Evil itself. Because if it wasn't the case, then all of us would be cooked. If we was the enemy of, if people was the enemy of spiritual child of God, or if people was the enemy of God himself, if people was the enemy of his only begotten son, we'll be cooked. That's not the case. So we can't make people our enemy. We have to make evil itself our enemy. The action, not the actor or the actress. The action. Hate the action. Hate the ways. Call out the ways. Don't call out the person. Call out the ways. Call out the evil in it. Hate the evil in it, because it comes up in yourself as well. Hate the evil within yourself. That makes it easier to deny yourself of doing it, to deprive yourself of saying it, to deprive yourself of bringing it to words, to deprive yourself of bringing it to action. That makes it easier when you hate it. Cuss it out if you have to. People wouldn't, onlookers wouldn't get this, so I advise you to keep it within yourself. Cuss your flesh out. We ain't saying that. We ain't doing that. People in the flesh wouldn't get you saying this in public, so I wouldn't recommend you say it in public. But people in the spirit of a spiritual children of God would understand what the conversation you're having with your flesh. Nah, we ain't doing that. Nah, we ain't saying that. I know that's what you want to do. You want to get back and clap back and respond, but that's not what we're doing. That's not what I'm in charge. You have to rule over your flesh as the spiritual child of God. Rule over this flesh, which is the sinner, as the child of God. You have to rule over this. That was the first instruction. That was the instruction that was given to Cain. But Cain didn't follow, it went over Cain's head. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares Yahuwah. This is God saying this through Isaiah. This is God saying this himself. Verse 9. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. He's breaking it down for you to understand, like literally off the page. Like, yo, the heavens are higher than where you are. I'm in the sky, yo. I'm in the sky. You ain't in the sky. So don't ever insult me and disrespect me like we got the same thoughts and we got the same ways. Now it's a it's an honor and pleasure for you to consider my ways and consider my thoughts. It'll behoove you to do so in order for you to enter my kingdom, in order to for you to basically follow the examples of my only begotten son who've taken on my thoughts, taken on my ways. It'll behoove you to do that in order for you to enter through my son, meaning through the ways of my son, through the examples of my son, through the demonstrations of my son, through the teachings of my son, through the lessons of my son. But look, I'm in the heavens, I'm in the sky, man. You're on the earth, just like the sky is above the earth. My thoughts, the thoughts of the sky, the thoughts of the heavens are greater than the thoughts of the earth. And those who dwell the earth in these fleshly beings, in these earthly beings. So don't ever disrespect me, is basically what he's saying. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So get with the program, bro. Sis, get with the program. You know what I mean? Get these thoughts, get these ways, and do your best in your flesh to consider them and keep them top of mind. Do your best in your flesh to consider them and filter every action, every step, every thought, every word through his ways and his thoughts. Though your thoughts, your original fleshly, earthly thoughts and ways are not his. It's going to always be in opposition of his. It's going to be always be in opposition of his. Your thoughts, your ways are always going to be in opposition of his thoughts and his ways. And if you just so happen to have ways that are similar to his, those are not your ways. Those are the ways of your spiritual child of God. That you just getting an aha moment like, wow. Whenever you thinking something righteous or thinking something good or thinking something compassionate or thinking something forgiving or thinking something, mourning for others or merciful to others and humbling, you're humbling yourself. Those are all thoughts and ways of the spiritual child of God in you, not your flesh, not the true you. So you can pat yourself on your back and give yourself credit like, wow, I'm tapped into my spiritual child of God to be considering this. I'm tapped into my spiritual child of God to be having mercy on this person, to be humbling myself, to be having compassion on this person, to be mourning for others, to be forgiving others, to be loving this stranger, greeting this stranger, loving this person that my flesh hates. That's the strongest demonstration of the spiritual child of God. Forgiving and loving someone that your flesh hates. Forgiving and loving someone that your flesh hates. That's when you put on that's the biggest demonstration of the spiritual child of God. Verse 10, for as the rain comes down and the snow from the heavens, he got to, for as the rain comes down and the snow from the heavens and do not return there, but water the earth and make it bring forth and bud and give seed to the sower and bread to the eater. Verse 11, so is my word that goes forth from my mouth. It does not return to me empty, but shall do what I please, and shall certainly accomplish what I sent for. Come on, man. It's going to certainly bring forth what he said. These prophecies will certainly come. These prophecies will certainly be fulfilled. This is a clear indication. He's letting it be known, like, yo, just like I send rain and snow, and you don't see rain and snow going back up, you don't see that. You don't see that. Just like I sent rain and snow, I sent my word through my servants, through my prophets. I spoke through them. So what I spoke through them, that's not coming back, just like that rain ain't coming back up. That rain came down in order for to bring bud and to bring growth and crop and seed. That's what that rain was sent. So the word, the same way, the word was sent to bring growth in the seed, to plant the seed and watch that word grow. That prophecy was sent to be fulfilled. These prophecies were sent to be fulfilled. They weren't just he wasn't just speaking through Isaiah just because Isaiah has lips. He wasn't speaking through Isaiah just because Isaiah has lips. No. It was for you to hear it and watch it grow and watch it come about. Hear it, watch it come about so that that it came from him, that it came from the one who spoke it through Isaiah in the first place. So when he said, yo, follow my instructions, he meant that. When he said, yo, your righteousness is guarding my commandments, he meant that. That don't come back. Don't that don't he don't you don't switch that around. Everything that even him making his son his only begotten son, the ultimate sacrifice. He said that would come about, and he basically did away with those. He all through the scriptures, he was giving you hints like, yo, your sacrifices I don't care for. Your sacrifices I don't care for. All of that I don't care for. Why? Because my son is coming to be the ultimate sacrifice. Just like all through the scriptures, he was talking about like, yo, your temples and your buildings, I don't care for. This is going, your builders, he sent his only begotten son to tell you, yo, the buildings is going to be no more. They're going to be one brick ain't going to be on the other. The my only begotten son is this building. It's the spiritual building. When two or three are gathered in his name, my only begotten son is the builder. So he tells you what is done away with. He told you these buildings is done away with. He told you these temples is done away with because they're corrupt. These buildings are done away with because they're corrupt. These are no longer my set apart places as far as like what's required. My son is the set apart place. My son is the set apart building wherever people two or three are gathered in his name. My son, the sacrifices done. The sacrifices are done away because my son is the ultimate sacrifice. Those are the only things he said himself. That he said himself. He's put out himself. He spoke out through his servants. Through his servants, he spoke it out already. So that doesn't come back void. Nowhere in here does he say through his ancient servants, through his servants, or through his son, yo, the Torah is done away with. The instructions of God is done away with. The commandments are done away with. They not nowhere. Everything else he said, yeah, this is the reason why there's no more sacrifice. I don't desire your sacrifice. I desire compassion. I don't desire sacrifice. I desire compassion. I don't desire offering. I desire compassion. This is what his son displayed. This is what his son demonstrated. This is what his son left as an example. Compassion. That's the offering. You want to offer something? Offer compassion to your brethren. Offer compassion to your sister. That's the offering. That's the new offering is what the demonstration of my only begotten son, what he offered. Verse 12, for with joy you go out, and with peace you are brought in. The mountains and the hills break forth into singing before you, and all the trees of the field clap their hands. You got the trees clapping up. Got the trees clapping, man. Yo, listen, man. Listen. We don't make trees, so we can't judge and put a definitive, you know, we can't put a definitive character on something we didn't create. Yes, we plant seeds and a tree can come about, but what are we nourishing that tree? Are no, that nourishment is still from Yah. The water nourished in the ground that it we didn't build, we didn't make that. We don't make water, we don't make ground. We don't make water, we don't make ground. So that tree, who are we to dictate the nature of the tree and say that that tree don't clap? You hear trees when the wind blow, right? I ain't gonna get too deep, man. But it's just interesting. It's just a thought. I ain't going as far as that because I gotta make sure the scientific mind is, I understand we're born into scientific thinking. So it has to be scientifically correct for us to understand what it is that's being said. But spiritually, Ruwaku, it's it doesn't work like that. Science is theory of man's theory, and our ways are not his ways. Our thoughts is not his thoughts. Science is not his thoughts. Science is not his ways. So if he say the trees was clapping, you know what I mean? If he say the trees was clapping their hands, that's the thoughts, and that's that's the ways and the thoughts of the Most High. Verse 13, instead of the thorn, the cypress comes up, and instead of the nettle, the myrtle comes up. And it shall be to Yahuwah for a name, for an everlasting sign, which is not cut off. An everlasting sign, which is not cut off. It should be. That completes the chapter in the reading of Isaiah chapter 51 to 55. I'm going to close this live out, and I'm going to pick back up in the book of Matthews. Y'all willing? Y'all willing? You able to pull up? But I'm gonna close this portion of this Shabbat reading of Isaiah, and I'm going to go back. I'm gonna come back on to read the book of Matthews, the teachings of the only begotten Son, the lessons, the examples, the demonstrations of the only begotten Son of God. And I'm gonna bless this out for those who won't make it back. I'm gonna bless this out according to the blessing that was given in the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verse 23 to 26. The blessing that was given to Moses to bless the people. Receive your blessing. May Yahuwah bless you, barak you, and guard you. May Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. May Yahuwah lift up his face upon you and give you peace. Peace, love, Shabbat Shalom. Till next time, Shabbat Shalom, peace and love. I'm coming back on, so if you able, I'll see you then.